Well, a court in Paris has found 14 people guilty of being accomplices in the shootings at the offices of Charlie Hebdo magazine and a Jewish supermarket in the capital in 2015. 17 people were murdered in the attacks before the assailants were shot dead by the police. All those convicted have been found guilty of helping to arrange, fund and support terrorist acts, although only 11 appeared in court. Sentences of between 4 and 30 years have been handed down. The murders were allegedly provoked by anger over the satirical magazine publishing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. Well, let's go straight to Paris, where our reporter is standing by outside the former offices of Charlie Hebdo magazine. Well, hello there to you, David. Tell us a little bit more about the sentences that have been handed down today.
Well, the sentences, as you say, range from 4 to 30 years because 6 of the defendants were cleared of helping the terrorist attacks, but they were convicted of being involved in criminal activity. And the defence argued that although they helped the attackers, they didn't know what they were planning. But that seems to have had little effect on the judges, who feel that if they didn't know exactly what the attackers were planning, they certainly knew something was coming and they could have alerted the authorities. Now, among those convicted is the former partner of the man who attacked the kosher supermarket a couple of days after the attack on Charlie Hebdo's former office behind me. You might just be able to see a mural commemorating the massacre there. And she is believed to be in Syria. She and 2 other defendants fled from France shortly before the attacks.
David, now these terrorist attacks have cast a dark pall over France. Will these convictions bring any sort of closure?
Well, I don't think they really will bring closure. I think people will agree with them and think that those convicted certainly do deserve long prison sentences. But since this trial began 3.5 months ago, we've seen a series of terror attacks, and at least 2 of them have been directly linked to the publication of those controversial cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad you referred to in the intro. And one of the attacks took place on this very street after the satirical weekly republished the cartoons on the very first day of the trial, and 3 weeks later a Pakistani attacked 2 people in this street with a butcher's knife, and he told police that he was angry that that Charlie Hebdo had decided to republish the cartoons. And then in October came the beheading of a teacher by an 18-year-old Chechen refugee who had posted on social media that he was angry that the teacher had showed pupils the cartoons during a session on free speech. So this is very much an ongoing threat in France. It's the Western country that suffered most from Islamist attacks in recent years.
An ongoing threat. Well, many thanks, David Shazam, for us there.